Good evening. Coming up in Mello TV Evening News tonight, teachers stage protest as they continue their rejection of the government's compensation offer, even as the finance minister states no retroactive payments will be made in the upcoming financial year. The opposition spokesman on education said the teachers must remain resolute and not be bullied with half-truths and baseless accusations. And West Kingston detectives have named wanted men and urged them to turn themselves in. And now the news in detail. New and expanded healthcare services are set to be offered at the Cornwall Regional Hospital following a renovation of the facility. The public hospital, now on the cusp of rehabilitative and redevelopment works valuing more than $10.5 billion, were some of the announcements by Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, during a press conference yesterday.
What has transpired over the number of years during this process is not an attempt at fixing one problem. It has been a rescoping of the approach to rehabilitating the main building at Cornwall Regional. And in effect, where we are now, and we do have a roadmap, which you will hear momentarily, is the build-out of a new hospital infrastructure. And this for us is very, very important because it qualitatively makes a difference between where we started and where we are now and what the finished product will look like. And at the end of the day, we are convinced that the people of Jamaica and Western Jamaica will be better off for it. So this is the purpose of this update. So much has been made about the cost of the project, the construction work on which is expected to cost in the region of $10.5 billion by the time the work is completed in a few years. Already some $2 billion, including for demolition works and roof repairs, has been invested to make the structure ready to receive the final build-out, which will include medical and general services and also installation of new equipment.
Minister Tufton further stated that Jamaica has to come to terms that we have neglected our infrastructure for years.
We really have to come to terms with the fact that we have neglected our infrastructure over many years. And what this government has done, what I have brought to the Cabinet of Jamaica, with the team's support and the technical assessment, is to make a case for a new hospital. Yes, the frame has been there, but a lot of work had to go into bolstering that frame, restoring the integrity of the frame. You saw the pictures. Beyond that, though, a new hospital in terms of infection prevention and control, which means flooring, new pipes, all the critical gadgets and equipment, and a new hospital in terms of brand new equipment. So we're not putting old equipment into the new building, we're putting in brand new equipment. And a new hospital in terms of the range of services that will be offered. So I really hope that this places in context what rescoping means as opposed to cost variations or cost overruns. This is not a case of cost overruns. It is a case of a rescoping of a project to create a new facility that the people of Western Jamaica deserves, frankly speaking. And
Teachers across the island staged sit-ins and sick-outs, which led to a reduction in activity at schools today, and in some cases, parents were advised to keep their children home. Today's action by the teachers started earlier this week. Yesterday, the opening of the budget debate, Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, appealed to teachers to be patient, stating, quote, "We can't reach the promised land in one step," end quote.
But the truth is, at this time, in the context of the significance of the monies committed, we cannot do any more. Madam Speaker, we can't reach the promised land in one step. There will be another opportunity before too long to work together on achieving some of the outstanding goals. Madam Speaker, my mother was a teacher for nearly 20 years in Kingston and in rural Jamaica. She spent a decade of those 20 years as a classroom teacher. I am a classroom teacher's son. I know my... My Speaker, I know as a student and as a son that what the classroom teacher does is extraordinary. Madam Speaker, it is in fact, it's magical. Magical. How does one weigh and measure the ability to inspire?
And even as the finance minister appealed to the teachers, placard-bearing educators demonstrated in front of the Ministry of Finance this morning. The teachers were dressed in black to send a signal as they protested the wage offer announced by Dr. Clark in Parliament yesterday as he debated the 2023-2024 budget.
Hiding from teachers. Prosperity. Where are you? Prosperity. Where are you? Prosperity. Where are you? You are hiding from teachers. Prosperity in the garden. Hiding out. Hiding out. Hiding.
Today I'm out here to support my colleagues, to share in their voice and to share in their cry. We are teachers and we have been going above and beyond our duties, doing so much. We are the backbone and the cornerstone to all the professions you can think of this day. And those persons in the other profession, they have been getting their fair wages and their fair pay. And all we ask as teachers is that someone consider us. I want to speak on two accounts. First, to the Ministry of Finance, whose head is Mr. Clark. We want to tell him that he's to consider us much more better, because not all of us is on one spectrum. We have been doing so much and we deserve a little more.
We're protesting because we're dissatisfied with the current offer being made to teachers. We want livable wages. You know, if there was no teacher, there'd be no Mr. Clark, there'd be no nurses, there'd be no doctors. And that is what we're saying today. Pay us more because we are the cornerstone of it all. Well, livable wages, I'm thinking that we can go home with like $250,000 per month. For some professions, it's just 5 CXCs. For teachers, entry level is a first degree. You know, I paid a lot for my first degree and I'd really like to be compensated as such.
We love our children, we love our nation, and that's why we are still here. Because the opportunity to open, you know, our whole we can fly. Hey, you mean I'm very not to go again. I'm telling you the truth. It is there. But I'm saying to us, we believe in our nation. And it doesn't make sense. Listen to me now. Be wise. It doesn't make any sense to let us leave. Later on, realizing that the classes are being emptied, and then I invite others to come over, and that we should refuse to pay us now. Yeah, doubly to pay other people. Come on now, man. Don't do that. We are here and we are saying we are here to stay. Just give us more so that it can seem like somebody cares.
In the meantime, the government has stated that if a wage deal is not achieved by mid-March, retroactive payments will not be made to teachers in the next fiscal year. But despite the government's pronouncements, opposition spokesman on education, Senator Damien Crawford, is urging the teachers not to let this deter them from seeking higher wages. In a press conference held earlier today, Mr. Crawford gave the government 3 options for resolving the problems, one of which was to put the money that already accessible in escrow, which is permitted by law.
Could be placed from this budget 2022-2023 into escrow and have no impact on the budget 2023-2024. Additionally, the minister can place the funds within a designated contingency within the 2023-2024 budget to be disseminated at the point of agreement whenever that is. This again has been used time and again within our budgetary allocations when there is no negotiations to be taking place. Finally, we could always have an announcement of a supplementary budget with allocations and reallocations as necessary, as has been done 4 times last year by the same minister and multiple times before by this ministry. So this again is another example of government badness, which we ask the teachers not to be swayed by this effort to have them to leverage their current financial circumstances and the knowledge that the teachers are going through difficult times with the actions that the monies that are owed to the teachers in back pay, not a gift from the government, but owed to the teachers by their willingness to delay their increases over the last 2 years, that teachers should not be made to be forced in agreement because the government is playing hardball as to how monies will be paid over.
Mr. Crawford urged teachers not to be swayed by the government's attempts to leverage their current financial circumstances and the knowledge that they are going through difficult times. The opposition spokesman on education said the country is being bullied with half-truths and baseless accusations.
The People's National Party is willing to commit to teachers and other members of the public sector to offer whatever legal services that are necessary if they are being unfairly and unduly treated by the government, which have multiple options to have negotiations in good faith and have the funds available for lump sum payment if it is so desired. Additionally, the weakness of the government's proposal is adequately captured in the fact that the key selling points are one-off payments and 2, pension benefits. It should be made clear to our teachers that on both counts, there will be additional benefits if a reasonable salary package is negotiated. Further, why would a teacher sacrifice 240 paychecks over the next 20 years so as to gain 1 paycheck now, or to sacrifice 40 years of effort for an immaterial benefit for 10 to 15 years in pension, which, by the way, they now have to contribute 5% of their salary.
Mello TV has been advised that delegates of the Jamaica Teachers Association, the JTA, have rejected the government's compensation package. The rejection came at a special JTA conference held at the Michael University College this afternoon. According to the JTA, of the 578 delegates that voted, 346 rejected the offer and 227 accepted. 1 ballot was rejected and 4 spoiled. A resolution was subsequently passed for the withdrawal of service, which could lead to a shutdown of schools island-wide. The JTA says it will be writing to the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service outlining the outcomes of the meeting and will be seeking a resolution to the matter. In the meantime, Dr. Clark yesterday announced that a memorandum of understanding has been signed with multinational risk and financial advisory firm Kroll Associates UK to provide forensic audit investigative services to the Financial Investigations Division, the FID, to assist with probing the alleged fraud at Stocks and Securities Limited, SSL.
Also, leave no stone unturned. We will follow the evidence, or the investigators, Madam Speaker, the policy of the government is that they follow the evidence wherever it may lead, and that we seek international assistance. On the latter point, Madam Speaker, I'm pleased to provide the following update. Arising from, writing to, and collaborating with the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office of the United Kingdom, this morning, Madam Speaker, I signed a statement of work with Kroll Associates UK, the British subsidiary of the multinational risk and financial advisory firm, to provide forensic audit investigative services to the Financial Investigations Division in its probe of the SSL matter. Kroll will bring leading-edge technology that will support the FID in unraveling all aspects of this 13-year fraud and bringing co-conspirators and accomplices to justice. I'm also happy to share, Madam Speaker, that the British government, which has long supported the FID, has offered to cover some of the initial costs of this engagement, with the government of Jamaica covering the balance. Madam Speaker, I ask Jamaicans not, this occurred this morning, Madam Speaker. You can see the same tie, same jacket. Madam Speaker, I ask Jamaicans not to jump to conclusions, but to await the outcome of the investigations. A formidable team of highly capable local law enforcement professionals from multiple agencies, supported by foreign investigative capacity, is on the case.
Dr. Clark also highlighted that the nation is now on track to record its lowest level of debt in many years, with rating agency Fitch only giving Jamaica a positive ranking.
We're on track, Madam Speaker, to achieving the lowest level of debt in over 20 years. And just today, Madam Speaker, at 2:02 p.m., the international rating agency Fitch put out their press release revising Jamaica's outlook to positive, Madam Speaker. Speaker, our goal is that by next time this year, and there's a goal, there's always a risk in talking about goals, but it is our goal that by next time this year, Jamaica's debt level will be lower than it was prior to the domestic economic shock known as FinSAC. For the younger generation, Madam Speaker, FinSAC stands for the Financial Sector Adjustment Company, a massive entity established by the government of the day to address the financial sector crisis in the 1990s. FinSAC resulted in a massive increase in debt from the mid-70s to approximately 110% in a few short years. And then it came down a little bit and went back up again. Madam Speaker, this stock of debt has dogged Jamaica ever since. It is easy to put it on, but very hard to take it off.
A student from Clarendon's Lennon High School was taken to hospital with a head injury following an altercation on Monday. A fellow student is said to have thrown a stone at the student outside the school's grounds. According to reports, the two students were allegedly arguing about $100. The now injured student allegedly initially struck the other student, who then in turn is said to hit him in the head with a stone. The student lost consciousness and was subsequently taken to hospital. When the injured student was questioned by the police, they discovered that he had forgotten both his name and the incident. Due to the injured student's inability to speak to the authorities, the accused student has not yet been detained. A team of officers assigned to the St. James Police Division seized 2 firearms and 21 assorted rounds of ammunition during a joint police operation on Rough Road in Salt Spring, St. James yesterday. Reports are that about midday, the lawmen conducted a targeted raid at an abandoned building on Rough Road. During a search of the building, 2 M16 assault rifles with a magazine containing 16 5.56 rounds and 5 9mm rounds of ammunition were seized during the operation. No one was arrested in relation to this seizure. The investigation is ongoing. In the meantime, detectives assigned to the Kingston West Criminal Investigations Branch have named 2 men as wanted. They are Siobhan Lawrence of Victoria Street, Arnett Gardens, Kingston 13. He's wanted for murder. The other man is Raheem Brown, otherwise called Shem, of Regent Street, Denham Town, Kingston 14. He's wanted for shooting with intent. Lawrence and Brown are urged to report to the Denham Town CIB by Thursday, March 9, 2023 at 6 p.m. Additionally, anyone knowing their whereabouts is being asked to call the Denham Town CIB at 876-948-6443, 119 police emergency number, Crime Stop at 311, or the nearest police station. And those are the stories making the news this evening. Thank you for tuning in to Mello TV Evening News. I'm Nicole Hales. On behalf of the entire production team, happy International Women's Day. Stay safe and thanks for watching.